What's happening, folks? We are here cut testing with the Cold Steel AD10, designed by Andrew Demko, built in Taiwan by Cold Steel in S35VN, and featuring their triad lock, which is a very, very strong locking mechanism. Some people say it's the strongest available. I would say it's definitely at least in the top 2 or 3. It's very, very strong. We're going to do a little bit of more in-depth testing than we usually do. First, we're going to cut our normal stuff, the cardboard, the Cecil rope, the leather, all that stuff. Then we're going to go out in the back 40 and do some chopping and batoning and nailing and all kinds of stuff. So let's get this out of the way first. Now, this is a knife that has a very thick blade. Very the geometry is big, very, very thick and big. But it can slice, man. This is just regular cardboard, and it's passing through with ease, really easily. Can it do utility cuts? Yeah, it can. It's not the best knife for the job, but check it out. I mean, it's freaking doing it. Easy. Got to raise up a bit to get to the tip, but, you know, that's okay. Nice and easy. Can we do some turns even? Let's try it. Little curvy cues. Yep. Not a problem. Cecil rope. Now this kind of reminds me of the McNeese that I just tested, in that the tip is quite thick, and when you're kind of doing this kind of cutting where you start at the tip and rock back, you can feel it. You can feel that thickness pushing through the material. So not ideal, but it's absolutely cutting the Cecil rope. Even better than some other knives that have much thinner geometry. So yeah, we're good. Next, let's cut up some leather. I just have these soaking wet fingers left, so let's cut these up. Everything's wet. It's been raining quite a bit in the area. So far, I haven't noticed any big hot spots. Now these scales are contoured, and it's a very comfortable knife. It really fills out your hand nicely. I mean, it's big, it's thick, it's contoured, it's comfy. Destroyed the leather. What do we got next? How about some heavy plastic tubing? This stuff is really hard. Yeah, the geometry felt a bit thick to do this kind of cutting. It just felt like you're pushing an axe through it. I tried to chop it. It hardly even made a dent. Like, this stuff is really hard. But, yeah. It did cut it. 2-inch strap. Will it go through in one cut? We have the length, but do we have the sharpness and geometry? Oh yeah, we do. Look at that. First try all the way. Bam. Let's do another one. Again. A little surprising. I thought, I don't know what I thought. I just thought it wouldn't go all the way through. Maybe because it's so big and thick. I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. Let's do a third and final one. Bam. It wasn't even that hard, man. I wasn't like muscling into it, really. Impressive. Let's do some whittling and get a feel for the ergos when you're really gripping really tightly. And see how the blade likes to bite into the wood. It wasn't biting in super nicely. I mean, it felt thick. I'm also feeling a hot spot on the edge here where that jimping is in the liner and scale. when I'm really gripping hard and pushing through this wood, I can feel it there. But this was the first time I had noticed it throughout all the cutting, so it's really only when you're really tightly gripping the knife that you start to feel that. And it's rare that a knife has no hot spots when you're pushing that hard. It's rare. Most knives hurt your hand at least a little. How's our edge? I forgot to show you before we started, but it was a nice factory edge. It was easily cut in paper. My paper's a little wet, but we're still nicely cutting paper. Maybe a little more difficult, but we're good. All right, let's take it out back and do some fun stuff. Out in the mud pit, there's a pile of logs, and I'm gonna throw the knife into it. First one, missed. Second one, nailed it. This is just kind of testing, I guess, the solidity of the tip and the solidity of the locking mechanism. Although I am like 99% sure nothing is going to make this thing fail. But we'll just go ahead and demonstrate it. I'm throwing it in pretty freaking hard. And then kind of wrenching it back and forth a little bit. It would be real hard to snap this tip off. You'd have to be really trying. Just normal knife stuff, this tip is not going anywhere, ever. I'm not sure what this material is. I think it's like a piece of siding. Got my safety glasses on. I'm going to try to baton it, though, see what happens. I think it's some sort of like particle board. And yeah, it was not having it. It's weird, some weird stuff there. So instead, let's see if we can baton this piece of treated 2x4. The treated stuff is usually harder to baton through. Not even a hint of play or movement or anything. This knife is just solid as a rock. Not even slightly a problem. Twisting in there even. Let's do another. I start a little too far forward here. You'll see that I run out of tip to smack. And I decided to take it out and reposition. There we go. Bam. Nice. Getting dirty. Let's feel the lockup, feel the action. Feels exactly the same. What's next? I wanted to try to hammer through this piece of board like a nail. Let's try it. I should have brought my rubber mallet out here, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna have to use this 2x4 as a hammer. And it was just not having it. This board is made out of some really weird stuff. But I'm still going to do it. I'm just going to do it through a piece of this pressured 2x4 that we had split off. I want to hammer it all the way through until the tip comes through the other side. So that's what we're doing. There's like almost a little point the back here that the back spacer comes to a little point. It's got to be made out of aluminum, I think, because I was whacking on this thing pretty hard for a while. and it didn't crack or anything. The coating didn't even really come off of it. Pretty crazy. But I think it's aluminum. Don't feel the tip yet, but we're getting close. Getting dirty. Do we have a tip? Yes, we do. There she is. Nice. Let's see if we can pull it out. There we go. No damage whatsoever. Lockup didn't fail. Nothing failed. Everything is still solid as a rock. All that good stuff. This thing is a freaking beast. Let's do some quick chopping. Just want to see how this works as kind of a tiny little machete. If you hold it far enough back on the handle, you kind of get enough like leverage, kind of like whipping action that you can chop pretty good with it. This type of stuff is what this knife's built for, you know, everything we've been doing so far and more. It's just, you know, it's not really built to be an everyday carrying knife, although you can. It's meant to be just a brutal, really heavy duty knife that can handle any situation that you might be in, you know. And some people like EDCing knives like that. I get it. I do it once in a while too. I'm gonna wedge this into this crack in the pallet here. Just do some wrenching. I bet I could pop this apart if I kept going. But the whole pallet was moving and I only had one hand, so. But I was prying pretty darn hard. I would be reluctant to do this on most of my other knives, I think. Maybe there's one or two that would be okay, but I mean, a lot of them might be okay, but this is one that I'm like, no brainer. Yeah, of course, nothing's gonna happen to it. Let's go. Trying to stab this by throwing it into the pallet, but it kept bouncing. So, failure. And let's check our edge. How we doing after all that? You know, wood is not very hard on edges, but you know, I still want to see. And yeah, we're still cutting paper, man. Damn. Haven't stropped it at all. If we go a little more slowly, there's a couple little, you know, snaggy spots, very tiny, not enough to tear the paper. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. You know, S35VN's pretty tough stuff. So I think that's a good choice for this knife. And let's just strop it up and see what kind of improvement we get. Definite improvement. Even do some squigglies here. Yeah. S35VN strops back nicely. That's why I like S35 and S45VN. Pretty decent edge retention, and they I don't know, they just always seem to strop back like real nice. So that's it. That's the Cold Steel AD10. A brutal knife. You can get scales for this thing from oggoat.com, originalgoat.com, and considering doing it. We'll see. But I really like this thing. Probably not an everyday carry, like I said, but if I know I'm going to be doing some heavy-duty stuff, I'll definitely be carrying this, and it's just fun to have. So that's it. Please like the video before you leave. It really helps me out, and I'll see you later.